world have already become even richer as a result of President-elect Trump's victory. According to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, the net worth of Elon Musk, one of Trump's most vocal allies, increased by more than $26 billion. And that was just yesterday. The wealth of Oracle co-founder and fellow Trump supporter Larry Ellison grew by nearly $10 billion. And the net worth of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos jumped by more than $7 billion. Some of the
Tish James, the New York Attorney General, I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights, and I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
We've been warning people on the show, Mike, this isn't the same Trump administration. Stop messing around. Don't rig elections. Don't illegally vote. Don't try the funny business, because we know the team this time and they are not effing around.
Let me just say this to Big Tish James.
It is Friday morning. Let it be known. Thanks for joining us as always. As I said the other day, the idea that when Donald Trump did lose in 2020, he never accepted defeat. In fact, we saw the results of that. That was a riot at the Capitol, and they win, and they do not win graciously. They ramp up the hate and the rhetoric, and folks just have to now adjust their lives, understanding that this is what you have, what white women particularly, and what Latino men have chosen. And now they're going to have to live with the consequences. Our job, Austin, is, as we've been discussing too, and just enjoy so much. I got to say this, the meeting that Denise Rolock Barnes and Misha Green at the Informer had with their staff on Thursday, yesterday, and that they plan to have again on Monday. In fact, I think Monday is supposed to be a session where they allow all the employees to really express their feelings, what this means to them, and then give them a path forward. Here's what we're going to do. I really appreciate that. I think every single organization, newspaper, whatever, black business, black-owned business, should have a leader who is going to do just that. Find out how you guys feeling. And you know Misha very well, Austin. She cares. She's going to show she cares. You know Denise very well. She has shown that thick and thin with some of her employees. She's going to be there. You need to know that the person that heads your group, your organization, your job as a black person, you need to know that they're going to be there. I'm seeing statements from the ACLU. I'm seeing statements from the Urban League and things of that nature. We have to reassure each other, number one.
Yeah, and good to see you, Stacey. Good morning to you and our viewers. Denise and Misha, as you well know, are two of the most compassionate, grounded, thoughtful black females and leaders that I have come across, and I mean that quite sincerely. And you're absolutely right. Denise and Misha, set an example for all of us by having that type of session that I was listening to yesterday, and to again do it on Monday. And as you said, all organizations who have leaders with any compassion, and frankly, whether you are unless you're just working for a right-leaning Trump organization, these types of sessions are needed. This
Well,
election,
wait, let me stop you for 1 second, and I'm gonna let you finish because I really want you to finish. But you mentioned that, and I was noticing, though, even those organizations are having meetings to say, look, so this is what we are able to do now. The chains have come up. I'm seeing report. The unions, some of the unions leaders. So even those who are not adversely affected. Those who believe that they're going to gain by this are having meetings. So go ahead, Austin. We all need this.
no, and one of the last presidential elections, Stacy, that we've had in our lifetime. I'm a couple of years older than you, but when at the last time that there has been the need for these types of conversations, organized conversations within, nonprofit, for-profit media, whatever, in a presidential election. Never, at least not that I recall.
Mhm.
And this, the fact that we, Denise and Misha and others, are having this type of conversation for our listeners. It just goes to show you the the incredible magnitude of what transpired on Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. And this is just the beginning. For me,
Mhm.
I cannot begin to adequately express to you, Stacy, my level of hurt, my level of disappointment, my level degree of anger, my level degree of shock at what transpired on on Tuesday evening. Had it been any other Republican, it would not have been as painful. It would not have been as shocking.
The score
But
keeps going
the
up.
fact,
309 electoral college
yeah,
votes
exactly.
as of this
But the
morning.
fact that
The
it was,
House is now just about
oh, the House,
officially out of
we've
reach.
lost the House. We've lost the House. No, I mean that's not going to happen. So, in 2016, we can say it was an anomaly. Folks are
Mhm.
curious about this. At least he had the image of a successful, businessman. He's a celebrity.
Mhm.
You could almost, give a pass, if you will, to 2016.
Mhm.
But 9 years later, 8 years later, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Everybody, whether you follow politics or not, you know who Donald Trump is. And the fact that with 34 convictions, with all that he had going on, 2 impeachments, with the January 6th insurrection that indeed he led, with all of the crazy commentary, especially just over the last week before the election. And this is America. And I am disappointed in my country. I am hurt by my country, and I'll go so far to say I'm ashamed to be an American in this America, because
Mhm.
this is America.
Maybe Youngblood says, imagine Dred Scott walking out of the courtroom.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and Southbound 3000 says, the saying, together we stand, divided we fall, is going to be really tested. Can we stand the rain? Um, and listen, here's the other part of it. Orange G hits it out the park, I think. He says, we cannot march and sing through this. This is about to get real ugly. That's so literally that whole marching thing, that's you can't do that no more
No,
under
no.
the coming administration. There will be no um we shall overcome marches. There will be no Black Lives Matter marches.
Mhm. You remember in during the protests after the George Floyd murder, when folks were marching down by the White House, and Trump asked his, I guess it was General Kelly, why can't we just shoot them in the legs? And Kelly told him, you cannot do that. Well, guess what? There's now he can do it. That's how real and ugly this is. Now he can do it. And there's the only way we had, Stacey, to stop this was at the ballot, and we screwed it up. We
And
absolutely screwed it up.
yeah, and you're emphasizing that now because now is totally different than 2016. Like you said, this whole project 2025, many of us tried to express how real that was, and now they are coming out. Even those closest to Trump. Oh yeah, come on. Bannon said last night, yes. Just so anybody won't be mistaken, it's real and it's happening. Um, the laws that are going to be implemented, there's nothing to stop. See, that's the thing. You also lost the House and the Senate flipped, and you have the Supreme Court.
In
It's
Trump's
a
back pocket.
wrap.
In Trump's back pocket. Yep.
It's a wrap.
Yep.
Anything that this man, and then you have that Supreme Court ruling that still hangs over, says in bold letters, immunity.
Yep. And watch, within, I think by the end of 2025, Trump is going to have at least one additional person on the court, because Clarence Thomas, I bet you, in 2025 decided to step down.
I'll give you one better. All that talk about expanding the courts that some Democrats discussed and Biden toyed with a little bit and dismissed it out of hand. Watch, mark my words.
Hadn't thought
They're
about
going to expand the court,
that. Yeah.
and it's going to be even more conservatives on that court. They will expand it in a heartbeat. And I think it's going to happen. They're not going to wait for no retirements or deaths.
Nope. Yeah.
You got to understand, folks, the black press, among others, have been saying, let it be known among others, has been saying for sure that you have yourself a true monarchy. You have yourself a true dictatorship. This is what you were going to get, and this is what you overwhelmingly decided to have. All that stuff that happens down in Mississippi, the whole welfare situation and everything else. Well, that is one of those little things, Austin, that you only seen. It's like test runs for the entire country.
And during the first Trump term, when I would travel back and forth to different parts of Africa, it became a running joke with a lot of people with whom I interacted. They would say, "So what's happening in America?" And they would laugh and say, "How does it feel to live under a dictatorship?" Because many of them are used to living under dictatorships. And before I could laugh it off, but now I can't laugh it off. Now it's about to become real, and there are consequences for not voting. There are consequences for voting the wrong way, and we're about to find out just how bad those consequences are.
Yeah, going forward, and Greer has mentioned this too, but going forward, and I believe Denise mentioned this as well. We're going to have to. The news that we're going to be bringing is more of like the Green Book, right? Don't tell our people you may not want to go here. You may want to do this. You may want to avoid that. This particular law says this, and this is what it means, and these are the consequences. So this is going to be our responsibility when we talk about journalism. This is going to be our responsibility. There was, and speaking of journalism, think about media. A big article, I believe it was Politico, that really showed you that even from their standpoint, CNN, NBC, and even the Washington Post and the New York Times are 100% now useless. It was a huge, and I gotta find that article, Austin, and share with you. It was just posted, I believe, yesterday, and it showed you how they are just as much the culprit in this as white women and Latino men,
Mhm.
and but they are also useless to Donald Trump. He doesn't want them, and they are not relevant anymore at all.
Mhm. You
And
know,
so,
and
where people gonna get their news from? They need to come to
the
it.
black press, I watched
Yes.
the woman in the black press. You know, in Greer's opening, I think if I saw correctly, Jeff Bezos made, was it 26 million the day after the election. As everybody knows, he owns the Washington Post, the same Washington Post that for the first time in a half a century, decided there was no need to endorse anyone in the name of objective journalism, whatever nonsense that he said. The same Washington Post that decided, despite the fact that we cannot endorse either Harris, Vice President Harris, or Trump, we are going to endorse at other levels of government. The same, the same newspaper, the same newspaper. It was all
Mhm.
BS.
Well, and you know what? Greer makes a point, and see no reason to disagree. He says the
Yeah.
Post will be government property.
Wow, that's deep. Yep.
It is deep, but listen, um, it's easy to see. It's not hard to see.
Hmm.
It really isn't. Bezos knew what he was doing.
Yep. 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 And Stacey, you and I talked about this the other day, because when we talk about how Trump is going to crack down on journalism, man, that includes us.
Without question, without question.
It's we're going to somehow have, as Denise and you and others said, and Misha and others said yesterday on the call, uh, we're just going to have to, you know, wipe our tears, dry our tears, dust ourselves off, and continue to be a voice of reason, a voice of information, a voice, a source of knowledge on what's happening politically at the local, state, and national levels of government for our community. Our mission, the mission of the Informer and the Black Press, is even more critical than it
Mhm.
was before.
Well, look
And
at David Youngblood says he doesn't see the black press surviving this post Reconstruction. He says we're the target. We are a target, and he doesn't believe we're going to be able to escape it.
that is a very real, I won't say likelihood, but certainly a very real possibility, and
And
very real
which is right,
cause for concern. I mean,
which is
think
why
about
you need leaders to step up.
thank you. I mean, think about it. The black press, despite challenges, survived, segregation in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Certainly the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, segregation. And now David can say, and I'm afraid he may be right, and I think I'm seeing that Greer agreeing, that the black press may not survive this Trump brand of segregation. Before, the press, the mainstream press, the minority press, uh, uh, what do I want to say? Had Stacey, we could turn to the government to protect us. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of speech, and freedom of press. The tentacles of American democracy are now at risk.
And we got to have this obviously conversation offline, but there th- this idea of social media, um they will definitely, folks, TikTok is done. Because this administration coming in is the one that's really been driving the removal of that. But more importantly, look who's running all of these places where shows like this land on, right? Look, Twitter and Facebook, and Instagram. You know, look. There, long time ago, we talked about Black people getting their own apps. Chuck D has Bring the Noise. In fact, we're going to talk to Chuck. I got to talk to him. Um, we got to talk to him about that. He's got Bring the Noise app. It's a really good app. Um, it is an app in which Black folks and other folks, whoever wants to come on, can actually more easily monetize than the other ones. But more importantly, he has it so that um, you are using certain music or whatever, they're not cutting you off. You don't have the copyright problems that you have elsewhere. So it may be a situation where it should be a situation anyway, where you are streaming to Black apps and Black landing spots. So we'll talk more about that. But
Yeah.
you know, they burned all these books in Florida yesterday. Yeah, Isaac Hayes III has fan base. But they burned all those books. They have told you. That's the thing. It's like this is not
We were
should
warned.
not be
We were
surprised.
warned. We
Should
were
not be a
warned.
surprise. And another part of this, Austin, another thing to understand too is this. You know, one of the stories this morning, we don't know. Greer made a point. We don't know all of the intricate details here. You also got to watch for the setup. But Mayor Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba indicted on 5 federal charges in a Jackson, Mississippi bribery scandal that involves Hinds County District Attorney Jody Owens and Ward 6 Councilman Aaron Banks, who were also indicted yesterday. The mayor is accused of accepting a $50,000 bribe through Owens in the form of 5 $10,000 campaign donation checks. They're claiming that he accepted the checks knowing and understanding that the money was from the developers of this project and that it was being offered in exchange for official action from the mayor in favor of the developers' proposed development project. So he has obviously they're alleged with AI, I guess you got to be careful, but there are alleged video. That's what I'm going to say, alleged video and alleged audio. Because again, you and I both people have heard us on this program and on Denise's program and on other programs enough that they can mimic our voices. They can change things to appear that we are at somewhere where we're not. But the bottom line here is the mayor is facing at least 10 years in prison on one count. Then there's the racketeering charge that he's facing at least 20 years. And then another 20 years for honest service wire fraud. So he's looking at a possible 50-year prison term. And this is a guy who he fought hard for the city of Jackson. You remember we brought that story, this
Right.
almost stunning story a couple of years ago where they were forming 2 different courts, 2 different police departments for Black and white residents down in Jackson as the state sought to take over the city. And he really fought hard and fought back. And so could this be punishment for that?
I would, don't know the details of the case. In fact, in all honesty, Stacey, I had not heard this, so this is news to me. But what options, whether he's guilty or not, and I'm going to give him the presumption of innocence, which he deserves. But what options does he have to run for another elective office and have these charges dismissed?
I see where you're going.
I mean, think about it. On January 20th at noon, Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States and the first criminally indicted person,
Convicted
convicted person to assume the office of the presidency.
It is with great disappointment that I come before you. My legal team has informed me that federal prosecutors have, in fact, indicted me on bribery and related charges. To be clear, I have never accepted a bribe of any type. As mayor, I have always acted in the best interest of the citizens of Jackson. We believe this to be a political prosecution against me, primarily designed to destroy my credibility and reputation within the community. There is no coincidence in its timing being just before the upcoming mayoral race. My legal team will vigorously defend me against these charges. Again, while I am disappointed, I am not deterred. So I ask for your patience and your prayers during this process. Thank you.
I think the thing too with that, I don't know how much the federal prosecutors will change in places like Alabama, Mississippi, but they're going to change in other places, right? If he was in a different jurisdiction, it might be a little different, because a lot of this stuff is certain elected officials are going to be able to openly get away with stuff like what's alleged here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Stacey, wasn't there at least one, maybe two during the Trump administration, prosecutors and or district attorneys who were forced out because of either Attorney General Sessions or Attorney General Barr?
Correct.
So,
And
I mean, expect a whole lot of forced resignations. Look, this is so bad that, and you know this because it's spelled out in Project 2025. Civil servant employees who have been working, spent their careers at Department of Justice, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, wherever, for years under Republican and Democratic administrations. This new administration now is going to go through all of them line by line, and they're going to dig up their voting records.
mm-hmm.
In particular, voting records of whether they supported Obama or who they supported in 2016, who they supported in 2020, and who they supported in 2024.
Yep.
And those folks are out of jobs.
And you think about Tish James, you think about she's definitely out of a job. You think about Fani Willis. Now, people say she's elected. They elected. It does not matter. They showed that in Florida. Bobby Henry could talk to that, right? He could speak to that. That DeSantis has already successfully tested the theory that you can't remove somebody who is elected. He's done it twice, and there has been nothing. The judges have said, "Well, we have ordered, you guys to have your jobs back, but there's nothing further we can do." The governor has made his, he's made his intentions known, and nothing we can do. How can a court say there's nothing we can do when it comes to that? So that's just a precursor. And as Greer, I think Greer commented that, yeah, they're gonna make sure black lawmakers are not in office, and that's the other thing. I think even in terms of the Jasmine Crockett's of the world, they may be elected, folks. The rules are going to change on January 20th.
That's right. And we were talking about this, before the show. Look, every time I go to the grocery store, I'm cussing as I walk up and down the aisle and put, groceries in my bag for what you pay for chips and what you pay for eggs and what you pay for milk and everything. I mean, I get it. I absolutely do get it, but I also think that I would rather pay, and not Stacey to belittle anybody's financial circumstances, but I would rather pay, more for eggs than milk for the time being, with the hope and belief that they come down, than I would to be targeted on my job, like a lot of people are going to be targeted on their job. And again, I don't mean to belittle. I get it. I get it. This election, and I get that we Dems have to do a better job of messaging on
Should have. I think you should say they should have, because I don't think it's. I think it's
yeah,
over.
yeah,
I think as far as the future, there's no future.
should have. Oh, wow, deep state.
I don't think there's a
Right.
future for that party. I don't think there's a future to go against this. What's happening here is, I mean, it sounds crazy, but again, the man told people way back as early as last spring that if you vote for me, you will never have to vote again. You look at Project 2025 and you look at all of the other stuff, folks. Folks knew this. They knew this, but other issues got in the way. And why? It's like, as I wrote in my article, in which he defeated Harris, folks chose servitude over freedom. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
They chose servitude over freedom, and now, as much as people, that might be hyperbole. Now you're going to find out. You are going to find out, and here's the other thing along those lines. In the wake of the election, Black students at the University of Alabama and others around the country now have received series of alarming racist text messages, telling them to report that their slave masters and others, whomever, will be meeting them at certain times to take them. It is their time to pick cotton. It's between noon and whatever. This is real. They are going crazy.
It wasn't even. I mean, I didn't. Do you recall, Stacey, or you, Greer, recall hearing these kinds of offensive, crazy stories during his first term? They may have thought about it, folks, but look, folks who were racist during the first term are even more racist now, and that's why we are witnessing this kind of abhorrent behavior. The guy who was on the on the lead, referring to Attorney General Tish James as what do you call her, a fat ass, if I'm quoting him correctly. Would he have done that last week? Would he have done that 2 weeks ago? He may have done it privately, but would he have been so bold to do that on live television or radio, whatever it was? It's a different it's a different ball game now. And folks who did not vote for whatever reason, or who voted for Trump, who voted against their own interests, are going to pay a hell of a price now. When he talked about deportation, most folks are simple enough to believe that he's only referring to illegal immigrants. He's referring to legal immigrants as well.
Exactly. Orange says Hispanics and Latinos who identify themselves as white is a topic that people are afraid to talk about. They voted to deport people that look like them. And that is that's another issue. And then you had this they are emboldened.
Yeah. Look at him. Would he do that to a black man? No.
Right. But we're seeing this more and more, and we're going to see more and more of that. And I tell you what, the unfortunate thing is going to cost many of black men like myself either our lives or our freedom, because let somebody, I got daughters wives, a
Mhm.
wife and sisters. Let somebody
Disrespect.
go in my wife or daughter's or sister's face like that, or granddaughters.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. It's a wrap.
It's
It's
on.
a wrap. And you know you're gonna be tested. That's what angers me more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Greer, come on, Greer.
I
I
didn't
knew
mean
she
to
was gonna
laugh.
get me on that. I knew it. Dang.
I didn't mean to laugh.
Bobby Henry, we can't give Greer ammunition. Good night. I'm not gonna tell y'all what she said. We're not giving her ammunition. I'm not empowering her right now. I'm going to go right back to what Bobby Henry said. He says, as a black man in America, he says, I've learned to listen closely when those in power take off their white robes and pointed white hats, put on a red necktie, black robes. He says, we better be ready. This is real. Bobby Henry, the chairman of the NNPA, folks, Bobby, you in a leadership role. We need leaders to lead, Bobby.
That's right. That's right.
We need leaders to lead. That's for sure. Greer says she can take care of herself on that. So Greer wishes, she wishes somebody would.
Greer's like, I wish you would. I wish I would.
I'm trying to say. She got to start trouble back there. My goodness. It's all your fault, Austin.
I didn't do anything. Greer started, when I saw that comment, I accidentally laughed on air, but now I can't stop laughing. Oh, gosh, Greer is hilarious.
I gotta drop a couple of links for Mike V. He said he wished Karen would, but going back, those messages selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. It's just yeah, and it says to the recipient, be ready for transport by quote executive slaves in a brown van for, it's like this is what they're doing, Austin. We saw what's his name, that idiot Nick Fuentes scream about owning women's bodies now. And
yeah. Now, who is he again?
this right-wing nut.
Okay.
It's one thing, and that's the thing too. It's one thing, okay, if you believe in and side with a candidate, that's your prerogative, right? But my goodness, um, where is any sense of, okay, this is my guy and I'm going to support him, but why do I have to do that by diminishing and being derogatory toward others?
Because it makes you feel better about yourself. When you are not feeling good, many people are not feeling good about themselves. What's the what better way to massage your ego, rebuild your ego, water your ego, than to belittle someone who you have always viewed as being below you?
It's true. It's absolutely true. Power 96 says every black football player at those PWIs should not play another down of football at those schools. They're protests, and again, I just don't think that there are going to be certain acts and things that matter anymore. And of course, as I mentioned, when I talk about protests, it's true. You're not going to see people marching anymore. Not black folks, and I
No.
mean, they may allow others to march for certain things.
I remember Stacey.
Well. It seems like the shit is already starting to hit the fan, and I can't tell you how excited I am to watch it. Y'all fucked around, and now you're about to find out. seems as if there's not going to be a Christmas bonus in southwestern Pennsylvania at a manufacturing company because the employees, who were likely Trump voters, got a lesson in tariffs and what tariffs actually mean and who pays for them. And it's just the first step that you're going to realize that you were lied to by your Fox News. You were lied to by your Donald Trump, but you were so caught up in your racism and bigotry and clinging on to your fragile, weak white supremacy that you didn't listen to the smart people in the room. And you resented the smart people, right? And for you Latinos, he's already planning to deport you and your friends. They're not going to ask for papers. They're not going to ask if you have a passport. They're not going to ask if you were born here. They don't care about you. And for you Black folks, you are screwed. Y'all really screwed. And it is my consolation prize to watch you suffer. Y'all think we are upset because we lost an election. No, we are upset because we know we all lost. Everybody lost. This is about to be a shit show, and you're going to get everything you voted for or didn't vote for. And then you people who, protest voted or withheld your vote, bye-bye Gaza. You can go visit their beachfront Trump Plaza property soon, because ain't gonna be no more Gaza, ain't gonna be no more Palestinians, ain't gonna be no more Ukraine, ain't gonna be no more Europe, because Russia's coming to take that over too. And yeah, I live in California, and Gavin Newsom has already said he's already calling a special session to protect us, and we have more money than all of y'all put together. So good luck.
Mhm.
On point.
See, he's 100%. See, he said it at the end though. Gavin Newsom. This is what leaders will lead. Gavin Newsom. I wrote about it. Gavin Newsom has called a special session to discuss how to protect Californians from Donald Trump.
Absolutely. I
How
wanted
to
to
move
read.
forward.
I want to read a quote by President Lyndon Johnson, and he said, "Stacy, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket." The president went on to say, "Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you." That's where we are.
What happened? That is
Look,
what
I
happened.
I am so sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. I think what happened on October 7th of last year was horrific, despicable. Hamas does need to be destroyed. I think that the 12 or 1,300 innocent Israelis who were slaughtered did not deserve that. But, you have to, balance that, and not justifying it all, but balance that with the fact that almost 50,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israel in response just to October 7th. And right now, there are about 750,000 displaced Palestinians who are in a section of Gaza Strip just being held in cages in outdoor cells. And you don't think for one moment that now, with Donald Trump in office, he is not going to give Benjamin Netanyahu the go-ahead to execute 750,000 innocent Palestinians? You're mistaken. I think that far too many, and again, far too many Palestinians, especially in the Michigan area, the state of Michigan, who were not happy with the Biden administration, rightfully so. I get it. They're concerned about using U.S. Weapons to turn on them. But they're going to learn too that they made a mistake with this election, how they voted.
Oh gosh.
Look at this
You
here.
know what,
Wow.
Austin? You are
Wow.
absolutely. I hear you. Oh boy, oh boy.
This
This
here.
is how. Yep. It is. It is amazing. Governor JB Pritzker, Mike V said yesterday that if Trump comes for his people, he will have to come through him first. Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Leaders got to lead right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been my theme throughout today, huh? Leaders got to lead.
Absolutely, absolutely. Protect those who elected you, and protect
Here's the
those
thing,
who
yeah.
did not elect you.
Yeah.
That's what a true leader does. But we're about to learn just how one-sided this is going to be in terms of protecting state citizens.
And look, you may not be able to fully protect folks. You may not be, I was talking about the workplace and Misha and Denise and stuff like that. You may not be able to, but you can stand up and say, "Hey, I feel you. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do whatever I possibly can
Mm-hmm.
to help us all get through this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you need from me?" Because that's essentially what Denise and Misha was saying yesterday. What do you need from
Yes.
me? I
Yes.
got you.
Yes.
Best I can, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
This is what leaders do. And I guess it takes Black women to do that.
That's right. That's right. And we were talking about this a bit before the show. Black women have always been the most loyal, dedicated, and consistent voting constituency of the Democratic Party. And like you, I'm sure, and Greer and others have seen on various social media platforms, Black women have had enough.
Yeah.
And
The problem. Oh, go ahead.
no, I mean they've had enough. They're saying, I'm sure you've seen, we were boycotting, I guess it was Starbucks because of their position on Palestine. Now you got folks saying, I'm going to get my Starbucks because I stood with you, Palestinian men and women, and you did not stand to protect me. And that's the thing that irks me, frankly.
There it is.
About
Yeah.
legal and illegal immigrants who come into this country. Look, my grandparents are from the Bahamas, so we came from the Bahamas to Florida and other parts of the United States. But it irks me when people come from countries where they are escaping poverty, anti-democracy, dictatorship, fascism, come here to America and don't see themselves as minorities anymore, and wreak havoc on our political system. Hell, if that's the way you feel, go back to where you are and work to bring about change in your country.
Right. Oh gosh, David Youngblood. See, that he's saying what I'm going to share that. I shared it on the on YouTube, but David is saying he's tired of standing with allies who do not and have not stood with us. And that is, again, I'm about to share it now, David. Again, I shared it on YouTube. I'll share it now in the Facebook group. The article I wrote saying this proves no allies.
Yeah.
There's no allies. And what you're saying, Austin, about that with the Palestinian situation, we knew that it's a hot button issue. We knew that, and I think some people just didn't want to upset the apple cart at times too, but it backfired because again, we have to. My thing is, you sympathize, empathize, you heartbreak for what happens over there, genocide, and it angers you, but you have to, just like in the airplane, they tell you if that oxygen was to come down and your baby was next to you, put yours on first
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that you can help that baby or that partner next to you.
Great
We
analogy.
have not helped ourselves as Black Americans to be so concerned about others
Great
in
analogy.
other places where we will allow
Excellent.
a situation of, like as I said in my article, servitude over our own freedom.
Yep.
It was that serious. I know, like Nina Turner was all 1000% gun ho about that situation over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you got to take care of home before you can't invite somebody into your home if it's falling apart.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And
So,
and so you messed around and found out.
so whether whether folks from other countries are here on student visas, whatever, all of that is on the table with this new administration.
Well, yeah, it's not only on the table, it's on the agenda, it's on the to-do
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
And this man said, like, as soon as he's sworn in, the deportations, they're already, he said yesterday in a statement that we have enough money. Money's not an object when it comes to deportation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's hey, Latino man, you voted me in. I'm sending your family away. They cannot come here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. 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 I was on one of the social media platforms yesterday, and I guess she was a Latina woman wearing her Trump hat and Trump shirt, and this reporter asked her, how she felt. Obviously, she's happy that Trump is going to be returning to Washington, and he asked her about the denaturalization and his
Mhm.
plans to deport. And she said, I'm going to be fine. And he said, what about your family members? I'm sure you have family members here who are not here legally. And she said, yeah, they're all mad at me, but they'll get over it. That's the kind of crazy,
Mm.
ignorant thinking
Wow.
of so many of us in our country. And she walked away with a smile, thinking that she's safe.
Mm. Mm. Well, look, and Greer makes the point, and that's the plan too. This week was about grievance reporting, and we're going to turn the page. And next week, this is going to be a place where, um, this is not going to be a place where we just display hurt and anger. We're going to reset. We're going to make sure that you all are able to somehow start your day, your mornings with better news, perhaps, but certainly feeling a lot better. Because what's that old saying, Austin? This too shall pass.
It too shall pass.
Um,
May take a while, but this too
it
shall
may
pass.
right. Um, and what doesn't kill you make you stronger, right? So we gotta we have to take our vitamins, do our little exercise.
And my dad, who was a preacher, always said that Black people are resurrection people. So
Yeah.
we will
Yep. And
run.
look, if for those watching and listening, look, we welcome your suggestions. If you have some good news, maybe you have some good advice. I know David is full. David Youngblood has. I'm not going to listen to Power 96's advice. He might tell us something that we don't need to do because he's all prepared, got all that money under the mattress, charging an exorbitant amount of student loan interest to his son. So I just can't take that guy too serious. But David, Mike V, maybe for sure, not maybe, but Mike V for sure. But we gotta make sure that the only thing I'll say about the Orangey, otherwise known as Power 96, is to watch the RNG Swag Sports network. This guy puts on it's the most entertaining stuff you'll see on YouTube. And you're watching games with him, watching football with him, and it's Friday too, so it's Friday Night Lights.
Friday night.
And so you gotta watch him. He is he's an entertaining bar none. The only thing you don't want to do is get a student loan from him. That's it. Don't get a student loan from the RNG, because the interest rate is just, it's criminal. It's criminal, Austin.
Hilarious.
Wait, Austin, you got some Dancing with the Stars thing coming up.
Yeah. The William O. Lockridge Community Foundation, we have our annual fundraiser tomorrow, Dancing with the Stars 14 years we've been at it. You know, proud to say that during those 14 years, we have raised over $400,000 for 100 plus students from Ward 7 and 8 to attend colleges and universities around the country. I hope you will, those of you in the area will join us at the ARC tomorrow night in Southeast Washington at 1901 Mississippi Avenue Southeast at 7 p.m. We're also going to pay homage to former mayor and current Ward 7 council member Vince Gray. Just please visit our website, www.williamlockridgecommunityfoundation.org, and register so we can have an accurate count. And I hope to see you tomorrow at 7.
Yeah, for those real quick who may not know, Vince Gray, he is the former mayor in DC, but he's also a current council member, and he announced that he is it early onset Alzheimer's or something of that nature.
Yeah, dementia. Yep.
Dementia, and he won't be voting anymore, and on council, he won't be voting on council anymore. And I've had a lot of great conversations with Vince Gray, a lot. And when he was going through the situation, when you talk about having elections interfered with, his election for mayor was totally hijacked by the DC Attorney General. It's this is no slight against Mayor Bowser at all, but we just don't know how that race would have ended up had the AG not put his finger on the scales of that race the way he did. But we've had some great conversations. Chuck Thies, who's been with Vince Gray for a long time, he and I have had some great conversations, and I wish nothing but the best for the former mayor and the soon-to-be former council member, Vince Gray, and hopefully he and his family will handle this situation as best as they can, and that he can be comfortable.
Yep. And Stacey, if I may add, the impact of Trump returning to Washington stands to have a profound impact on the District of Columbia and the operation of an independent District of Columbia. So that is also an issue that deserves attention.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks for bringing it up, Austin. See, you're good for something.
Oh boy.
No, but you see what I'm talking about, though. Before we go, let me say this: RNG Power 96. You see what I told you about his student loan situation. He says there are no grace periods. He says there's no grace periods, right, on his lending. He says his son and his girl. This is punishment now. His son and his girlfriend will only get to-go plates on Thanksgiving if he doesn't pay his student loan debt this month. This guy, man, he's got debtor's prison down there in Louisiana. It's horrible. Watch the RNG Swag Sports tonight on YouTube. Check him out. It's a great thing. And watch us on Monday. We're gonna give y'all some positive news beginning next week. We promise you that. And again, if you have something on your mind, folks, that you want covered, you believe needs some coverage, or as Greer says, some advice, please pass it on to us, and we certainly can use all the good news and good advice we can get. That's why Austin's here. Thanks, Austin.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you guys.
Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.